Alright, so now is finally the time to correct. We've had so many bear traps in recent weeks that there is no way this could be another one, right? Well, truth is, it can. However, I agree that this top signal is more dangerous than usual. And this could be the start of a serious correction. So let's do a complete analysis without bias or guesswork, always with a technical basis for formulating strategies you can use. Welcome to the Finance Hydra channel. My name is Nathan. Let's see what's going on right here, right now on the SPY ETF, which is correcting. It is losing yesterday's low. So yes, that's a dangerous signal. We see another bearish candle. Yes, we made a new all-time high. We are still going up. On the daily chart, we still see this phenomenal uptrend made of higher highs, higher lows. However, today we see another bearish candle losing yesterday's low. And tomorrow we have Federal Reserve meeting, okay? So yes, this volatility, this could be the perfect storm for the SPY ETF to finally correct, to seek our next support levels. On the 1-hour chart, we see the SPY losing this 21-hour EMA along with yesterday's low, leaving these key points behind us a resistance level right now. Of course, there is no clear lower high, lower low yet because today's high was still higher than yesterday's high, but still, we are now losing critical support levels on the short term and on the medium term, reinforcing the idea of a pullback. Again, pullback, not reversal yet, because in order for the SPY to technically reverse the medium-term trend on the daily chart, we have at least to lose the 21-day EMA. And for now, we are still very far away from this support level, so we cannot work with the possibility of a medium-term reversal yet, but we can work with a thesis supporting a pullback, supporting a short-term reversal, okay? In this scenario, yes, I see the SPY ETF correcting back to the 21-day EMA, okay? That could, guys, Fed meeting, top signal on the daily chart, losing support levels on the 1-hour chart, all of this could be the perfect excuse for the SPY to finally correct to its support levels. Okay, this could be just perfect. Now, if we see the SPY correcting, yes, we have a first support level near the 21-day EMA, a second support level a little bit lower, around 613, okay? And then we'll see if the SPY fails in reacting above these support levels, okay, then we may see a technical reversal on the daily chart. But for now, guys, we are just on the verge of making a correction on the daily chart. Okay, this could be a correction, and of course, there is nothing guaranteed right now because as far as I know, the SPY also made a very dangerous top signal, pretty much like this one over here, June 4th and June 5 over here, right? We had a very similar reaction, by the way, losing the previous candle's low, making a bearish candle, and in this case, we were just below a crystal clear resistance level. So in this case, the SPY gave us an even more dangerous top signal. Right now, we see a similar reaction, and just like this time over here, we may see the frustration of this top signal. What could be the frustration point, the inflection point that could reject the idea of a bearish reaction on the SPY ETF? We got a break and close above today's high, $638.67, okay? However, for now, yes, we see a quite dangerous bearish reaction. It is slightly more bearish than bullish right now on the short term on the 1 hour chart, so we gotta be very careful. However, when we analyze the QQQ is not that bearish yet. We are still above the inflection point I told you guys yesterday, 566.87. That's the trigger point of a top signal on the QQQ. And here, this top signal wasn't triggered yet. Maybe it never will. However, I do understand that there is the idea of a head and shoulders chart pattern. Either way, the loss of the 21-hour EMA along with the 566.87 could be the trigger point of a short-term reversal on the 1 hour chart, reinforcing the idea of a pullback on the daily chart and reinforcing the bearish case on the SPY ETF as well. Because if the QQQ corrects, well, tech stocks are going to correct, and tech stocks, they do have a very important representation on the SPY ETF. So yes, this could be the final warning, the last signal that could trigger a sharper correction on the indices. So let's pay attention on how the SPY is going to behave tomorrow, the QQQ tomorrow, because if SPY truly leaves the 635 behind, and if we see the QQQ losing the 566 area as well, then okay, we're gonna have the final confirmation of a pullback to our next support levels, maybe to the 21-day EMA, maybe to the 560 on the QQQ. However, the uptrend on the daily chart is still intact, even considering the idea of a pullback. So let's pay attention to this detail, okay? Because for now, guys, as long as we see this trend going up, as long as we see a bull trend, pullbacks are going to be buying opportunities. As I always tell you guys here on this channel, I do not like to buy near resistance levels far away from our support levels. I prefer to buy when we are correcting, when we see a clear bottom signal near a clear support level. So the risk-reward ratio is better, okay? Right now, I do not like the idea of buying. I see many people saying, oh, we should buy. Well, guys, it is never a good idea to follow blindly what other people are saying. And when I see the market going up, okay, I understand that people are buying, all right? They are buying. However, always work strategically, okay? Because if you see a pullback, let's say you want to buy over here, all right, I am no one to disagree with you, because yes, they SPY, the QQQ, they could fly tomorrow. They could keep going up because after all, it is an uptrend in the end. So, I am no one to judge, okay? I am absolutely no one. I'm just a retail trader like you, like everybody else over here. But it is an obligation to warn you guys about the consequences of what you are doing. And yes, by buying far away from support levels, the risk-reward ratio is not at your favor. And even if we see another harmless pullback, like we did over here, from June 11 to June 23, like we did over here, from May 19 to May 27, 23, I'm so sorry. Even if we see a harmless pullback to retest the 21-day EMA, you may suffer heavy losses, and you can't complain, because you are buying far away from support levels. You are buying without a clear technique. So guys, again, as long as you have a clear stop loss, as long as you have a clear target in mind, I am no one to judge, okay? But please, always work strategically and always set a technical stop loss, not a psychological stop loss, okay? Like, oh, my stop loss is, I don't know, $1,000 on this stock. Well, this does not work, okay? You gotta synchronize your stop loss with the technical stop loss, your financial stop loss with a technical stop loss. You gotta adjust the size of your position to match the risk you are taking on every single trade, okay? Do you know what I mean? So you always gotta work strategically, okay? Set your stop loss in intelligent support levels and always set a clear target, okay? Always have a target in mind. So if you don't, you will be lost, okay? You are going to be totally lost in this market, and odds are that you are going to lose money. Okay, so trust me, you are gonna lose money. So please always know what you are doing, set a clear stop loss target, and this is it. It is just like Nvidia. Okay, Nvidia, yesterday we had a phenomenal breakout of this resistance level, the previous all-time high, 174.16. We did a phenomenal breakout. You may say, oh, Nathan, I like to buy the breakouts. Okay, yes, that's valid, all right? This makes sense. I know many people who love to buy breakouts and they can make money consistently in this market. However, I do understand that this is not for me. It is not my style. Why? Because by trading a breakout, it feels to me that you are delayed. Okay, it is already too late. It feels like you are buying after the breakout. However, I like to buy near the support levels. Okay, buy near this 21-day EMA. Buy when we are dropping. Buy when we see bottom signal instead of a breakout. That's my personal style. Okay, it is, of course, it is not wrong to buy breakouts, but in this case, you gotta bear in mind you are buying a breakout around the all-time high and of course far away from support levels. Okay, if we see any top signal on Nvidia, we could easily see a very sharp correction back to the 165 again. Okay, easily. Why? Because this key point was a previous top over here, was a previous resistance over here. I'm so sorry. Support level over here, and it could be a support level again. It is close to the 21-day EMA, so that's a double support level and a technical target for any pullback on Nvidia. Meaning we could see Nvidia correcting roughly 6% from where we are right now. So, all right, Nathan, I do understand we could see pullback. However, one single candle is never enough to reverse the trend, right? You always say that, right? Yes, I do say that very often. So, what's the inflection point for a top signal on Nvidia? 174.16. If we do lose this purple line over here, we are going to lose this support level, this current support level, as we can see on the 1-hour chart, a previous top level here a few times. By losing this key point, we are going to leave the 21-hour EMA behind, and of course, we are going to also lose today's low. And today's candle pattern is a quite emblematic one. It is a shooting star candle pattern, okay? So, yes, by losing these key points, by losing the 21-hour EMA, 174, today's low, we're gonna also make a bearish pivot point on the 1-hour chart, technically reversing the short-term trend. So, yes, this could be the final warning for Nvidia, suggesting a sharper correction ahead. And that could be phenomenal. And I say this as a long-term investor as well. Because yes, you guys know that I hold my Nvidia's shares since October 2020. Okay, I am a long-term investor. I'm here for a very long time right now. So I'm telling you, it would be very good to see pullback. Because the price would be more discounted, would be cheaper, it would attract more investors, more investment, more people would be willing to buy Nvidia because it is quite crazy to buy near all-time highs, all right? Many people think like me. They also feel like Nvidia deserves a pullback. They don't want to pay too much on Nvidia right now, so a pullback would be more than welcome for us to buy more shares, for swing traders like us to buy as well, to try to nail a good bottom signal in order to capture a very nice rally in sequence. So this could create a pullback, would create many opportunities for many people. So yes, I'm telling you, a pullback would be healthy. Some people don't get it. They say, oh, Nathan, you want to see a pullback, so you are bearish. Well, you do not understand. It is way more complex than this, okay? It is not black and white. It is complex to the point that we gotta understand that this, guys, charts, they represent a battle between bulls and bears, okay? Now, it all depends on your strategy and on the time frame you are analyzing. If you are a long-term investor, you know that Nvidia's trend is insanely bullish. Okay, we are going up very nicely, but what if we see pullback to the 21 weekly moving average? To me, would be the perfect opportunity to buy more Nvidia's shares. And this is it. If we see a medium-term pullback on the daily chart over here back to our support level, fantastic. Maybe it will be a swing trading opportunity. Now, right now, Nvidia is not a buy, okay? But it is not a sell either, because I don't like to go against the trend, okay? Since the trend is bullish, I like to buy, but near support levels, all right? Near support levels when the risk-reward ratio is good, is better. So that's how I see Nvidia right now. I'm waiting for a pullback that would be very good, very healthy, and we could see many other opportunities for many people on Nvidia. All right, that's my, how do you like say in English, 2 cents, right? That's my 2 cents. This makes no sense in Portuguese, by the way, but still, I'm still learning, okay? Still learning English over here. Now, Tesla, guys. What I see in Tesla over here, it feels like we are inside a symmetrical triangle chart pattern, okay? We see this support area working 1, 2, 3, 4 times. We see this resistance level working 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times over here. So, will Tesla explode or melt? Only a breakout of one of these lines will bring something new. If we see an upwards breakout of this purple trend line up here, okay, bullish continuation. If we fail and lose this purple trend line down here, all right, bearish reversal. Okay, that's very easy to me. Okay, now it is very clear. We have other important support and resistance levels, but I do understand that these key points are the most important ones for Tesla right here, right now. Okay, we are inside a symmetrical triangle. And again, it is very easy to trade triangles, all right? But you gotta work with a very good strategy, okay? You gotta know where to set your stop loss, where to set your target, and you gotta understand what you are doing in the context of what you are doing. If we see the broad market correcting, as it seems it wants to correct, okay, odds are that we're gonna see a bearish reaction in Tesla, okay? So trading is never that easy. We gotta understand the context. We gotta see what's happening on the broad market. We gotta understand which one of our stocks are going to perform better depending on the context we are in, okay? And guys, remember, I do share my trading signals and strategies on my Telegram channel with the members of the 5% project. There, you can trade with me in practice and learn to trade using strategy and risk control. It's free to test. You can learn our method for free, and you can even download my ebook on technical analysis and risk management as a gift for you. It's free to try, okay? It is free to try, free to download. This is how we maintain a community of hundreds of profitable traders making money every day for years. There is no secret or magic formula. It's just strategy and discipline. Things that we can acquire and master. and I'm sure we can help you a lot. So check out our website for more information. Link is in this video's description, all right? Just take a look over there because yes, Tesla, Nvidia, these stocks, they are on my personal radar. Okay, they are on my personal radar. I always share exclusive analysis over there, so I'm sure you are going to enjoy what we have to offer. Always valuable information every single day for you. Very valuable information. Now, we see AMD making a shooting star candle pattern again, right? Another shooting star. But Nathan, we are going up 2%. Yes, we are going up nicely. It is still an uptrend. There is not a single bearish technical evidence on the 1-hour chart. We still see higher highs, higher lows. However, don't you agree that we could make a lower high, lower low right here, right now on AMD by losing today's low and closing below it on the daily chart? We are going to confirm a bearish pivot point on the 1-hour chart. And of course, by confirming this bearish pivot point, we are going to also automatically lose today's low, right? Close below today's low, and we're gonna lose the 174, the previous resistance level, which is now a technical support level, as we can see today. Okay, not coincidentally, we are bouncing off above the 174. Okay, we hit the 174 and then we bounced immediately because this key point is a very important key point for AMD. Remember, the market has memory. Okay, players, the market has a memory of this hive mind. The collective mind of all the market players are here, expressed on these charts. And yes, we have a critical inflection point around 174. Many people sold in this area because it was a clear target for many people, a technical gap, a technical resistance level. So probably we saw many people selling over here, maybe even shorting. So by seeing AMD exploding, these guys are in a very dangerous position. They don't want to see AMD flying to the 200s yet, okay? So maybe they will fight for their position, okay? Maybe they are going to not let the bulls take control that easily anymore, at least, okay? Because AMD is still insanely bullish. Either way, what's the key point for you? 174. If AMD loses the 174, okay, possibly we're gonna see a pullback to the 21-day EMA. All right, that's the key point for you guys. And remember, a pullback is not gonna be scary. Okay, it is not gonna be scary at all. Probably it will be just another buying opportunity. But I am just warning you guys, pay attention because we may see a top signal by losing the 174. Okay, it is my job to do my best to warn you guys about the main inflection points in the market. That's why I'm here, and that's why you should subscribe, by the way, if you're not a subscriber yet, because well, I just told you, I'm here every single day talking about many stocks, describing the main inflection points for you guys. So consider subscribing and click the like button to support me as well. Okay, your support means a lot. Now, we have Palantir going down today, trying to trigger yesterday's hanging man candle pattern, which by the way does not mean anything. We see this hanging man as a possible pullback to the 21-hour EMA. However, if Palantir continues to drop like this and loses yesterday's low, this hanging man's low, don't you agree that we may see a bearish pivot point on Palantir? That could be the technical evidence we need in order to believe that Palantir is going to make a sharper correction ahead, okay? So what's the key point for Palantir? Yesterday's low around 153.04. That's the key point for you to watch very closely, because by losing this key point, and of course, if we see the SPY, QQQ also correcting, probably Palantir is going to correct as well, okay? We are going to report earnings in 6 days, all right? 6 days. So the volatility will certainly increase very soon, and this could be the perfect storm for Palantir to correct, to seek lower levels. However, the trend is still very bullish, okay? It is still an uptrend. What could technically reverse this uptrend? If Palantir loses this 148 support level along with the 21-day EMA. By losing these key points, yes, Palantir may trigger a sharper reversal to the 130s. That's how I see these key points are quite clear, they are quite obvious to me, but Palantir, to me, it is not a sell, but it is not a buy. It is not a good sell because it is against the trend, okay? The main trend is bullish, all right? It is still very bullish. Investors are buying Palantir over here. However, it is not a buy yet because we are far away from support levels. So remember, guys, we can always afford to wait patiently and do nothing on these stocks at least, okay? On Palantir, AMD, not even AMD, which is very far away from its support levels, not AMD I see as a good selling opportunity. If you say to me, Nathan, I want to sell AMD, right? I want to sell because, let me take a look. Because the risk-reward ratio makes sense. I'm going to sell if we lose the 174. I'm going to set a stop loss above today's high, and my target is near the 21-day EMA, around 154. Okay, risk-reward ratio 2.34. That's the perfect trading strategy. I do like strategies like these, okay? But according to my personal philosophy, I do not like to go against the trend, okay? I like to follow the money, okay? I'm not a contrarian. I like to follow the flow of the money. And AMD, Palantir, Nvidia, they are still insanely bullish, okay? So I do not like the idea of shorting these stocks, but I do understand that for some people, this could make sense. Okay, this makes sense, all right? And remember, I do share my signals on our Telegram channel, okay? On our Telegram channel, we trade for real. So remember, take a look at my website. The link is in this video's description. Now, SoFi, insane bear candle, okay? But we are going up 6.5%, yes. But look at this candle. It is bearish, okay? Very bearish. The size of the shadow above the candle's body is concerning. I do understand that on the 1-hour chart, we are just making a pullback, harmless pullback to the 21-hour EMA. So, if we lose this moving average along with today's low, we are going to technically trigger this shooting star. And this could be the excuse for SoFi to retest the $20 area again, near the support level, near the 21-day EMA. We hit $25 today, okay? $25. Now we are at $22. That's a huge drop, okay? It's very rare to see candles as big as this one on SoFi. All right, so let's pay attention to the key points I just told you guys right here, right now, because they could be the trigger of a top signal on SoFi. If don't, okay, SoFi is going to keep going up, all right, because it is a bull trend, but pay attention to today's low and to the 21-hour EMA. Please pay attention to these key points. And we see MicroStrategy. This one, you guys know, it is on my personal radar, okay? We love to trade Bitcoin-related stocks. We did phenomenal trades in the past few weeks on MicroStrategy, Mara, Coinbase, etc. But right now, we gotta be careful. Let me show you guys something. Let me see if no, that's our thumbnail. That's my thumbnail, by the way, okay? Let me see if I can find Bitcoin. This is the OBV, okay? This right here below, this chart is the OBV, all right? Now, guys, this OBV is clearly divergent, okay? People are selling Bitcoin while the price is still sideways. This smells a distribution to me, okay? So, if we see Bitcoin losing the $115,000 again, that's going to be very ugly. Very, very ugly. That's the key point for Bitcoin. And if we see Bitcoin losing this key point, probably MicroStrategy, other Bitcoin-related stocks are going to suffer huge losses because, first, they are volatile, okay? Second, we have Federal Reserve tomorrow. We have earnings report on MicroStrategy in 2 days. So we gotta be extremely, extremely careful. I am waiting on the sidelines on these stocks, waiting for the perfect opportunity because I do understand that right now it is not for me. Okay, that's not for me, not yet. I prefer to wait for the situation to become more calm, okay, to cool down a little bit. Right now, if you ask me, MicroStrategy losing the 21-day EMA, it is on the verge of reaching our next support level near $372. So guys, if you ask me, now is a time to go fishing on Bitcoin related stocks. There are some alarming signals. I prefer to wait a little bit, okay? So remember, subscribe and click the like button to support me as well. No one watches a video on technical analysis for more than half an hour without liking the content. So come on, subscribe and click the like button as well, okay? Your like means a lot. Thank you so much for your audience, my dear friends. See you guys tomorrow. Stay safe. Bye-bye.